Hey there, folks. So, last episode, we started the process of getting things ready for modding. And what we did last episode is we set up our message manager. And what this is just basically it's a single, opens up another window, of course. It's a single place that all of our delegate messaging is going to be handled from. And the whole purpose for that is so that anyone looking at doing modding or anything like that, they don't have to think, oh, well, this message is over on the chrono manager, this message is or delegates over on that actor. Everything's going to be passed through this one singleton instance. And from there, that's going to be used to help facilitate additional mod options or additional modding support. The next thing I wanted to start working on is actually file read write. Well, file read specifically to pull data out of the of text files. Now, to do that, the first thing we're going to want to do, obviously, is we need to create a class for that. So C++ class is the fall. What I'm going to do is go into our public. I'm trying to think where to put that. Base class is no, because it's not going to be exposed to the engine. Actually, no, we might want to do that. So, trying to think. Function libraries. We're going to put that in there. Now, we could, and I'm actually toying with it, thinking about it, we might want to add it to TF utilities. So let me just pull that up here. Nope. Oh, what have we got in here so far? We've got convert level. I think I'm going to expose it to blueprints through the function library, but we're going to create its own class for it. So let's go back to the engine. I'm just trying to think where I should put that. That'll probably be base classes. So right click in the base class, new C++ class, all classes, object. And the reason for this is we don't need, or is it none? None is the one, sorry, we want. So back in the common classes, none, TF file IO. And the whole purpose for it being named file IO, for anyone not familiar, that's input output. Realistically, it's only going to be input. So we're going to create that class. Now, I launched the editor separate from Visual Studio, so we aren't going to have to worry about anything there. However, let's hop back into Visual Studio. And you can see that file has loaded. So file IO, I'm not too worried about being a singleton or anything like that, because its whole purpose is going to be parse a file and from that file return. Now, this is where I've mentioned in the past, actually in the past, I think it was the last episode, I want to support both JSON and XML. So what that is going to be is we need to create some files, functions. And to start with, I'm going to leave these as public, but they are going to be void read JSON file f string. I think it's f string, or is it f name? What's their file read? Right. That is an f string. Reload all. And these are voids. Now, they're not, that's not what it's going to be. I'm just setting them up as voids to start with. And it might actually be no, we need a return type so we know that it's finished. So, but now this is done, actually, we can go back into the editor, and I'm just going to close out of this once this is done. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to let the editor and Visual Studio finish doing its things, and I'll be back once this is done. Because as I mentioned last episode, my system's running really weird since I've moved it. But I will be back in a moment. All right, so things are back there. So what we're going to be passing in here is an f-string pointer file path. And the reason for this is this particular class we don't care about. It's not going to be... actually, I don't even know if I want to do it as a class. Let me take a look at our tfutils a second here. I'm actually thinking I might put it in there. Yeah, I'm going to put it in tfutils. We're going to get rid of this in here. We don't need a dedicated class for this, so get rid of you. In here, so we're going to go to our tfutils header. It's going to be void read JSON file, and actually we're going to also have void read XML file. Now, so this is going to be how, I'm trying to think how we want to do this. Sorry, it's been a little while since I've worked with this stuff. So this is going to be, I'm going to work on the JSON on this episode. So fJSON object, is it object? Yeah. This is going to be f-string file path. All right, is it fxml? Yeah, there's probably a namespace for that needs to be used. And I'm just going to create that definition to start with. So what we want to do here, though, is we have our file path. Try, catch, and finally. So for anyone who is not, what? Why is finally undefined? Is that because of what I've got here? Try, catch. Okay, maybe that's something that's unique to Epic. I'll have to look into that one. So for anyone not familiar, this 3 dots is just catch any exception. This is just my default format when I type this out. You'll want to expand on this and actually have proper catches in there. And we'll address that as we're going through here. So F file helper file trying to think what no, sorry, we want f string raw data file read, and then this is no, it's if file helper load file to string file path raw data, or is it the other way around? So no, it's the other way around. Reading that raw data, and then we want a pointer to file path. Okay, so basically if we can load the file to a string, keep going, otherwise throw an error and return. And then, so it's been a while since I've done this with JSON, sorry. What is it? JSON object, ret, and that's going to be our return ret. Was it then T JSON reader, JRead. Does it need an initializer? Yeah, it does. Equals T JSON reader. Oh. Yeah, reader factory. Create raw data. What are you complaining about there? Oh, that's why. I spell shared ref right there. Yeah. And then if JRead no, if f JSON serial line. Sorry, it's been a while since I've dealt with any of these. JRead. Yeah, so it's the reader and then the object, yep. So it's ret. Well, what are you complaining about? Oh, it's another one of these. T shared ref. And this is going to break everything else, I bet. Okay, what did I screw up here? Serialize or deserialize using the reader and our response. Yeah, I'm not trying to figure out what I screwed up here. F JSON serializer. No. Okay, what have I screwed up here? Let's just get rid of this for a second. Okay, so we have the reader. Okay, that's JRead. JSON value. Okay, let's start at the top. Reader. Stack state. Okay, we don't want that one. JSON value. JSON reader char type. Yeah, okay. That's. What did I screw up? Because that's the one we're going for right there. Or is it this? Okay, so now that is the... I hate IntelliSense for this formatting. Or is there something else I'm missing on this one? Deserialize char type. No, because they have default values. These two should be fine. JSON reader, tchar. Let's see, does I need to actually put that in there to define it properly? What are you complaining about? Okay, so tJSON reader, char type reader, tJSON reader, tchar, tshared pointer, JSON value. No. All right, let's just do this. Does that make any difference whatsoever? Okay, and let's get rid of that as a shared ref. Okay, bear with me 1 second here, folks. I don't want to keep fighting with this. I'm going to pause, do some digging, and then I will be back once I have this figured out. All right, so I have figured out what my issue was, and it was I had this as a shared reference, not a shared pointer. And that's what the problem is. This wants a shared pointer for the return, or for the output, and it wants a reference for the reader. So in doing this, though, I did decide I was going to make some additional changes here over and above how I wanted to initially read from these files. Bear with me 1 second here. I'm just looking at my notes because I took some notes while I was reading through this. So the first thing I want to do is right here, I want this to be a utility function. So I'm going to add that in, and this is just going to be fstring read file as a string, and this will be fstring file path we're going to create this definition. Now this one's a little easier in most cases. Actually, I realized I completely missed a couple of references here. So let's get rid of this. Sorry, not references, input. This is going to be a bool reference b success and fstring reference out message. Sorry, I'm using a format I've previously used. And just to explain how this works, these two reference inputs, it's actually so you can pass back additional information with only the single return type. So with that, one of the first things we want to do is check if our file exists. So if F platform, more does that include on that? Sorry, I went through and you can see I added a bunch of other things in here. So include tel platform. Platform file management, file manager. Okay. Yeah. So where were we in here? So if we're going to want to change this to a negative, so if f not f platform platform file manager get and though I understand I'm really only targeting Windows, this right here works perfectly for across the board. I'm not sure if I want to do this or not is this way. No, I'm going to leave it as this. Get platform file, file exists, and we pass in a file path. B success equals false. And then set error message, return an empty string. Okay, so what this is doing here, we're checking, does the file exist? If it doesn't, we're going to say our success was a failure, or false in this case. We're going to set an error message. I don't know what I want to do for that yet. And then we're just going to return an empty string. Now, if it does succeed, we want f string ret, going back to my normal format there. If f file helper load file to string file path ret. No, it's ret file path. I just did this. Ret file path. Is it a pointer to file path? I can't remember. Oh, sorry, my brain is all over the place today. And it helps if I do the casing. If it's not a success, B success equals false. Actually, I'm just going to copy this down here. Again, same thing. And otherwise, it's B success equals true. Return ret. Okay, so we've created our read function, and that just is going to pull information out. And that's to process these. So, okay, so load file, what do we call that? Read file as string. Raw data equals read file as string, file path. Nope, and f string read message. File path B success read message. If not B success, return null pointer, and then raw data deserialize. Okay, so just to step through this and explain what we've done here. This is literally just to read a file and then return it as a string, which is what we've done here. And the reason for this is we can use this function to read JSON string, XML string, Lua, whatever you want. So if you want a scripting language or anything like that, this allows you to do that. Obviously, we need to set our out message. And then, actually, we got here, don't need chop string, don't need that. Where's my, okay, it's after these. Yeah, sorry, just brain is completely messed up here. So yeah, anyway, so we're going through, we're parsing a file, and this function here allows us to read anything. It's going to return it as a string. Well, I shouldn't say anything. Obviously, reading a binary value as string, it's not good or anything like that. So However, from here, we pull that string out. And right here, this load file to string is going to offer a lot of the file open, file close logic that needs to be included. You can do that raw using fstream, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you know what you're doing. Because if you're going down to the level of using fstream, you need to be able to understand opening it, closing it, restricting the file, a bunch of other things there to make sure you don't conflict with something else. So this loads that information in, sorry. If this fails to load it, obviously, again, we're saying not existing, not successful. We need to set an error message and we're returning an empty string. In here, we have the next step, which is, okay, we read it, we pull the information out, we've returned success. Oh, we're going to set success. We're going to return the string we read. In here, we're grabbing that raw data. We are reading the file. Actually, I need to move these out because garbage collection from the try catch will save these. So we read the raw data. So we have our raw data, our message, our return, which is what we're going to be sending back. That's one. Sorry, I can't move that out. That needs to be up here. Now, let's just clean this up a bit. So we pull our file information out. If we didn't succeed, let me go log error with logger. Then we parse this. And, oh, actually, if not, move that there. If we failed to parse the information, log error with logger, return null pointer. All right, sorry, I just wanted to get that in there. And as I've mentioned several times in the past, my brain doesn't quite allow me to talk and type at the same time. So going through anyways, we have our shared pointer, return our raw data, the message we may receive from our file error, file read. If it's not successful when we try to read the file, we're going to log this message with logger. We're then going to I can simplify this. Try and deserialize the information from the raw data. If that fails, we log another error. Otherwise, we return that JSON object that we just parsed. And this is, again, going back to something I mentioned in a previous episode, the KISS methodology, or keep it stupid simple, or is the method, the version of that I like, keep it stupid simple, instead of keep it simple stupid. Keep it simple stupid sounds like you could be insulting the person you're talking to, but that's just me. So anyways, prefer the KISS method here, where we have a function to read a file. We have a function to parse that as JSON. We're going to have a function for that as XML. And this is, you can expand this for, like I mentioned, Lua or anything else you want to be able to parse. Obviously, if you're using Lua, you're going to look at other libraries and things like that. But this gives you JSON and is going to return a JSON object. Now that object is going to be dependent on the, I'm trying to think of the word I want to use here, particular data that it is parsing from the file. So you could have a file for, and where this is leading, it's going to be for perception information, or entity information, I should say. It's going to be things like a base health value, a base site range, things like that. So it's going to be, excuse me, It's going to be things like, okay, this is all the NPC or stat line information for the deer, for the bear, for the zombie, for whatever you want to create. And then from there, it's going to just return that. And it's going to be, the way I intend to do this is it's going to be a singular file in JSON, a singular file in XML. It's going to parse that information from those various data objects, and then it's going to put those into effectively a data table that can then be used. I say effectively a data table. It's going to put those into a data table for use as part of what is going to be the creature factory, which is something I'm going to be creating a little later on in this portion of the series. But anyways, folks, this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode. I did not exactly have as much time for this one as I wanted to. I'm still dealing with a lot of stuff in my personal life. It is also going to, let me actually just check here. Before I say say this, I want to double check something. Where's my calendar? This may be the last episode of this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to get another episode out for the 30th. I do hope to, but I can't guarantee because obviously it's Christmas season and I've got family and a bunch of other stuff. So, but as always, folks, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, or you need any help or anything like that, please feel free to leave a comment down below, or even better, hop over onto the Discord. I know there's been a couple of things that have come up the last little while. There's been some issues people have been having. I have made note of those. Don't worry, I'm going to be going through and creating a couple of sort of standalone episodes to help address some of these issues, and I should be getting those out at some point in the near future as well. But as always, folks, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.